I'm Francesco Garripoli, and I welcome you to another installment of the Wuji Mountain Musings. This is from my book, The Qi Effect. It's the last chapter, and it explores a lot of ideas, simple concepts that you can muse over, meditate on. And the book looks at Qi, it looks at Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, different practices like meditation, and the core ideas and philosophies behind them. But not so much on a precision level, as you'll see from this musing, but more on a feeling level, at that deep intuitive transformational level. So I'm going to read number 75. It's a long one, but feel into it as I read it, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. Qigong is taught by many people who gain much from teaching precision and technique. It feeds the intellectual mind and even fear aspects of the survival mind. That's typically why so many people cling to these types of teachings. Typically, they don't go very far in their development other than becoming very precise. This rigidity rarely feeds the heart. If you wish to pursue a path of precision, intellect, and fear, then that is a personal choice, not better or worse than any other. My path is one of transformation, moving out of the mess and confusion of survival intellectual cages that we have been trapped in. It's not to say this path is for everyone. You will find that many who wish to debate this will spend a lot of time trying to convince me that their precision and principles and techniques and logic is correct and right. I have no issue and believe that everyone should follow what they believe. The sad thing is, it is always what we believe that defines our world. Right? So, the world view we have defines the world we view. So if your path is one of precision and technique and doing something right and being judged for doing it wrong and trying to get it right, and you bring that into your personal practice, especially something like Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga, even meditation, sadly enough, you will be playing out that belief system of the intellectual mind and, of course, the survival mind that doesn't want to be wrong because survival is based on doing things right. But that is not the mind that we should use in our personal practice, especially a practice of healing. When we talk about Qigong on a body, mind, and spirit level, the mind we want to speak of here is the intuitive mind, the heart-resonant mind. That heart-centered approach to your practice is going to change everything. If your practice is defined by your intellectual or survival mind, and that trigger for wanting to do something right, or listening to your teacher to do it precisely the way they told you, is going to be a misguided path. Trust me. If you're doing mechanics, or you're doing your banking, if you're doing some scientific something, you better do it right. There's math involved. There is an intellectual survival approach that should be followed. If you bring that banking and mechanics and science into Qigong, into meditation, into your yoga or Tai Chi, you will be at a deep subconscious conflict with your ability to transform and heal. Yes, you will get amazing results. People do. People practice very precise Qigong, very precise yoga, very precise meditation, very precise Tai Chi. And they get their balance improved and they maybe can overcome certain kinds of fears and other things. But they're going to hit a ceiling. Trust me, you will hit a ceiling. And your ability to transform will never move outside of that little tight range. And it might be better than your life has been, and I grant that to you. That's fabulous. But do you want to stay in just a survival zone? Do you want to stay in just that blinding, like they have horses with blinders, and stay in that limitation place and feel that inner trigger, that trauma trigger of doing something right and not wanting to do something wrong and pleasing your teacher to do it right? Pleasing your intellectual mind. and your programming, that conditioning that wants to do something right. You can be in a big club. There's a lot of people who like this way of being. But from what I've seen from doing this for 50 years now, you will never get out of that box until you let go and free yourself into the heart resonance space of your intuitive mind. And then when your practice follows a technique, I'm off to teaching a Wuji Hundun instructor certification course. Of course, I'm going to teach the practice and make sure that everyone learns what Master Duan shared with me 30, 40 years ago. But within that training, within that space, I'm going to remind people about the softness around the edges. I'm going to remind people to listen intuitively and to modify the moves ever so slightly as they become more sensitive. This is why I call Qigong sensitivity training. It's not a precision training like mechanics. It's an intuitive sensitivity training. When we learn how to be sensitive at the subtle energy level, you begin to activate Qi based on listening to your subconscious wisdom. Your wisdom sits at the cellular level. It sits at the epigenetic level. It is within you at the deepest subconscious level. And the only bridge into that subconscious is through your intuitive mind. Your intellect will bifurcate or split your mind and split your ability and limit your ability to activate Qi. This is how we have breakthroughs in this practice. This is when our practice becomes truly joyful, and not just a conditioned joyful like, oh, I'm happy that I've done it right, but a joy that comes from the deepest level of connecting what we know intuitively about our mind, body, and spirit, that gets us out of the trap, the cage of our belief system, and into the infinite identity of who we are. Do your practice with joy. Suspend your ability to be trapped by precision and technique, and listen to what your heart is telling you, and watch transformation unfold in the most joyful ways. I wish that for you. And peace.